And so I definitely see people where like the firm is prioritizing a corporate practice, and litigators or people who are in, a regulatory area don't feel supported because the firm is not putting its resources there. And if that's the case and you feel like you have to fight to get what you need to serve your clients, it's to me, it's not worth the fight. It's worth finding a place where that is valued.
Welcome back to our Happy Rainmakers video series where point one can make a difference. I'm really pleased to be joined today by Hilary Gerzhoy, who is a partner at HWG Law and is an ethics expert. Thanks so much for joining us today, Hilary.
Thanks so much for having me.
So I'm actually working with a candidate now who knows she's underpaid and was okay with being underpaid because the firm was the right platform to build her practice and to have a leadership role and to have a lot of other things that she was looking for. But now she's getting a little tired of being underpaid, and she hadn't even realized how underpaid she was.
What I see in terms of like what makes people unhappy and want to leave their firm, it's that you feel like you're not fairly compensated and you don't have freedom. Freedom at a law firm is huge because the amount that people that I'm talking to work, they work tremendous hours. They have clients that expect them to be available nights and weekends. Vacations have been ruined, right? Like these are high stress, high demanding jobs. There's a reason that they pay so much. It's because clients are willing to pay for that service, but it's a competitive market and clients have their choice of counsel. But one of the things that sort of determines if people have longevity in this is, do I feel like I have some level of control over my life? Is the relationship between me and my client, and I don't have to go through a whole bureaucracy at the firm to do something? Can I discount my invoices without having to talk to anybody? Can I staff who I want to staff without having to get permission? Can I be in the office when I want to be in the office and not be in the office when I don't want to be in the office? Things like that really impact people's day to day.
Yes. And I see with a lot of the candidates I work with that if they feel like they have that total freedom, it's worth a lot of money to them until their firm becomes a place where they can't fully serve their clients or some of their clients. And they just really want to do a good job. They really want to be able to give good service. And sometimes their firm prevents them from doing so by not having a practice area or geographic area or the, resources that they need.
Oh, I think that is absolutely true. I think that's a requirement. If you don't feel like you can serve your clients the way that you want to, when we're talking about lawyers who are at this caliber, for everyone that I've spoken to in that camp, like they need to leave because they have the work ethic and the desire for the work to be good or so important to them, to their clients, but also just to their sense of self, right? Like the fact that they are lawyers who work in this area with these clients is a critical part of their identity. And if you can't do the best job because the firm is not behind you, it really is never going to be, it doesn't matter how much freedom, it doesn't matter how much money. For folks that I've talked to, it's never going to be enough to keep you there because that's a bare minimum. That's sort of like table stakes is we need to have the resources to do great work, because if I can't do great work, I can't continue my practice. And then you don't feel good, right? You don't feel good about what you're putting out there. And so I definitely see people where like the firm is prioritizing a corporate practice, and litigators or people who are in, a regulatory area don't feel supported because the firm is not putting its resources there. And if that's the case and you feel like you have to fight to get what you need to serve your clients, to me, it's not worth the fight. It's worth finding a place where that is valued.
Yeah, certainly. And it doesn't mean your firm is bad or wrong. It just means that it has different priorities and strategy than you have. And sometimes your clients develop over time and become more national or multinational or need other resources or something that your firm can't provide. But so for anybody who's feeling this way now, I guess the first step would be pull out your partnership agreement and read it. And if you don't have your partnership agreement, think of who you might be able to ask for without triggering a lot of interest in that.
Yeah, and I think critical to looking at your partnership agreement, the things you want to look at is what does it say about money and what does it say about notice? So, are you giving up money if you leave at a certain time? Is there a clawback provision? They don't usually call it a clawback provision, but that's what it is. If you, do you have to give money back to the firm that they've already given you, or are you prevented from getting undistributed profits? And what are the conditions that surround that? Because that's also an increasing trend. That firms are getting much more aggressive in terms of clawbacks and undistributed profits as a penalty for leaving. I've just seen it happen over and over where firms have imposed they continue to be imposing harsher penalties on lawyers for leaving. And then the other thing would be, what does it say about notice? How much notice do you have to give? And under what circumstances? Lots of those provisions are actually not enforceable, but you need to know what they say, and you need to know if you want to fight them. But sort of having I'm going to just do what I'm going to do without looking at that. That's when I get calls from people panicking at 10 p.m. because they got an email from the general counsel saying you've breached your fiduciary duty and section 5.2 of the partnership agreement, and accordingly, and then they're terrified because it's very stressful. But it's that kind of a thing is really avoidable.
Well, I anticipate you're going to have a few extra calls after people view this video. Thank you so much for the information. And we'll have all of your contact information available for anybody who's watching this video and feels like they need some help navigating, looking at their partnership agreement and understanding their obligations. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, thank you. And thanks for having me on.